Hey, welcome back. This is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Today we're going to talk about how to make a guy want you. I'm going to give you 3 very solid methods for, well, let's just say a little psychological ninja stuff. Okay, let's be clear about this. If you want to make a guy want you, you have to demonstrate high value. They used to call this D.H.V in some of the circles that I used to run in. D.H.V means demonstrate high value, but let me explain that. There's a balancing act to getting a man to feel attraction. The more he thinks he's got you, the more he thinks he's got you won over, the less he's going to actually have interest in you. To be fair, the same thing happens with women. Think about guys that you think are way interested in you before you are. You're not as interested. So with all this question of interest running around, it's a natural reaction to avoid people that we think need us more than we need them. And it comes from a part of you that wants to know that this man is strong. You need to know this guy is capable of keeping you safe if the chips were down. Unfortunately, the culture in the world today seems to keep tilting towards having women believe and act like they don't need men, which is not as attractive as you might think. Women do need men, and guess what? Men need women. So no, I'm not saying act weak. I'm saying act accommodating, but not too accommodating. You see what I mean? It is a balancing act. Well, don't get confused. I'm going to straighten you out as we go through those 3 tips for how to make a man want you. Tip number 1, make him want you like nothing else. Love your life. Now, I know this is probably one of the most overworked bits of advice you've heard, right? Be happy in your own skin first. Love yourself and he will appear. Live your own life first. Blah, blah, blah. Don't you feel like slapping people when they say that to you? Well, it's true, but it does need some explaining. First of all, what many of these sayings mean is simply that you don't want to set up shop in somebody else's life just because you're not happy with your own life. If you do, you're going to just keep perpetuating the same problems over and over and over again. You have to start by getting rid of your own neurotic baggage first. What many young couples don't realize is that they're often trying to avoid themselves when they get into relationships. We blame the other person rather than to stop after a breakup and think, hey, what happened there? Well, how did I contribute to this thing? Sure, guys could blame everything on women being needy, but that's not going to help you get the results you want. And it's also a little bit too pat of a response. Just get to work on the rough edges that you know keep coming up in your relationships. It's not really too hard when you sit down and make a quick list of the areas you know can be an issue. Let me give you an example list. You tend to get jealous a little bit easily. You don't like being criticized about your taste in movies, and you're late a lot. Okay, that's not too bad for a starting point. I'm sure we can all relate to those. So what you do is you pick out the first one that seems like it's a real roadblock to your relationships. Then you get to work on that. And one of those is obviously, well, acting jealous. If you know you're jealous a lot, that's going to get in the way of the relationship. So get to work on that aspect. So what do you do about it? You journal it. You write down how that habit or that weak area of your character has particularly impacted your relationships in the past. When do you typically get jealous? What do you wind up feeling when jealousy hits you? What insecurities does it point to? How can you script something maybe as an affirmation to remind yourself to be cool when it happens? Well, believe it or not, this is the simplified process of cognitive-based therapy. It's the easiest way and it's the cheapest and most effective way of making real change in your life. All right, tip number 2, make him want you like nothing else. Be the prize. Remember earlier that I mentioned a man needs D.H.V. He needs you to demonstrate higher value. Well, let me clarify and expand on that a little bit. When I say you need to demonstrate higher value, it's going to sound a bit mercenary and not very loving, actually. But here's the gosh honest truth about that I have to tell you. A little warning here, there's some science coming up ahead. We are all attracted to people that we believe have higher status and higher social value than we do. Human beings learned this over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. After all, if you wanted to survive in a small tribe of 150 or so humans, that's what we used to be back in the, way, way, way back, tens of thousands of years ago, you have to have your social alliances strong. This was the way of life for people way, way back. Hey, you know what? Humans were pretty ruthless, but we managed to do pretty good. So what we did is we developed a natural desire to associate and bond with people that we feel are strong and will help us survive. Okay, science break is now over. What this means to you is that if all other things are equal, a man will choose the woman he feels is the best prize. Men seek status through higher quality mates. Yes, just like women do, only with slightly different nuances there. So what you got to do is you got to show them you're the alpha woman of your tribe. Really, it comes down to this. How would you behave if you knew you were the prize? Think about that for a second. It's important. What would your attitude and confidence be like? How would you move? How would you talk? How would you think? That's the mindset you need to focus on acquiring right now. That's now and not later. You have to act the role that you want to play today and make it a self-reinforcing cycle. You believe you're worthy, so you start acting it, which makes other people believe it and start treating you better. And then your confidence goes up and up and up and up, and it's an upward spiral from there. Okay, tip number 3 is make your guy desire you like nothing else. Trigger his fantasies. This is the magic ingredient to the process of getting a guy to want you and to fall in love with you. It's probably no secret to you. If you can get a guy to just think about you and daydream about you when you're not around, he'll fall in love with you. You see, the weird fact of love and infatuation is that it happens mostly when you're not around. Think about it. When we're not with someone, we're wishing we were, right? They're kind of running around in our head and we're thinking about the next time we can get together with them. That tension in your mind creates a kind of crystallizing effect on our emotions. It makes them more vivid and more intense. And here's the really amazing part. His brain, a guy's brain, goes to work even while he's sleeping. It's long been accepted that your unconscious mind works on problems and then processes them while you're not aware of it. This is doubly true while we sleep, where our dreams work out our emotional issues. Think about it. Wouldn't it be great if you could trigger his subconscious mind to bond his love to you? All it takes is knowing how to get him thinking about you. And that takes, well, basically just knowing what words to get him fascinated with you. And I call these words passion phrases. Yes, they really exist. What you do is just casually slip these passion phrases into conversation with him, either when you're with him or in one of your texts. The moment the words enter his mind, he'll start to tell you about how much he wants and needs you, no matter how far away you are from him. He'll reveal how he feels out of control around you, unable to resist this primal masculine power that you awaken in him. You see, for too long, therapists and psychologists have pointed this nasty finger of blame at you, telling you your relationship problems are something wrong with you, some unresolved trauma from your childhood, or they'll blame it on having a dysfunctional family. Finally, a recent discovery has at last exposed beyond a shadow of a doubt the real reason that men pull away from a devoted partner in a loving relationship, and it's not your fault. I want you to find out what it is. Go click the link below this video, but first, wait, don't touch that button, don't touch that dial. Subscribe, comment if you have a question, and make sure you like this video. That's the holy triumvirate of my YouTube videos. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, and post a comment if you have a question. Then click the link below the video and go find out how to get these passion phrases. I've got a free presentation for you there. And as always, this is Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. Live and love with passion.